Good evening. An independent review into suspicious deaths and brain injuries at a hospital maternity unit is to be expanded after nearly 20 more families have come forward. They are claiming babies and mothers have died because of blunders at Shrewsbury and Telford NHS Trust, and that the hospital is failing to learn lessons from what's gone wrong. A year ago, the BBC revealed that the government had ordered an investigation into maternity care relating to 23 cases at the hospital. The BBC has also found that significant concerns about the trust were not flagged up by experts to the health regulators. This exclusive investigation from Michael Buchanan.
These children should all be alive, but maternity errors by one NHS trust left their parents bereft. What makes their deaths more unbearable is that the Shrewsbury and Telford Trust often didn't learn lessons.
I mean, we've had quite a few scares, and after what happened previously, it's quite hard to get excited.
Devon and Gavin Cadwallader are expecting their second baby. Their first child should now be 8 months. But last December, their daughter Quinn died in the Prince's Royal Hospital in Telford. Devon had complained to staff that her baby's movements had slowed. The hospital constantly reassured her that everything was fine. It wasn't. After 3 days in hospital, the couple were told their daughter had no heartbeat.
In your mind, was your daughter's death preventable?
Yes.
Yeah.
We were going in. She was. I mean, even after the post-mortem that we had back, they couldn't find anything to say that there was something wrong with her. I think in our heads, although it's horrible to say, if something had been wrong with her, we could maybe deal with that a little bit more.
The feeling that we got is we were just, the whole time I was in there, I was just a number to them. It was just a bed, and no one stopped to think, hang on, this isn't normal for Devon.
A post-mortem failed to find a cause of death, but the couple still have questions. Tonight the Trust say the death had been fully investigated, but have offered to meet the family. This latest death, however, raises questions that have swirled around this Trust for years.
The Trust say they are cooperating with the investigation, that they're being open and transparent with the regulator NHS Improvement, and that independent experts, the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynaecologists, have in recent months found improvement in their maternity services. But a number of families have raised questions about how the Royal College behaved.
Last summer, the Royal College found significant failings at the Trust. The culture of learning from incident investigations was not apparent. Managers were required to deal with clinical areas they had no experience with. A lack of staff was a patient safety issue. But they failed to alert the regulator about any of those concerns.
These recommendations are open for all to see, and that includes you, me, users of the Trust, and also the regulators.
Are you aware of any further fatalities or what might have happened to that Trust since then?
Since that review happened, there may well have been fatalities within that Trust, something which the College has deep sympathy for anybody who has lost a baby in these circumstances.
Kayleigh and Colin Griffiths lost a daughter due to errors at the Trust in 2016. They've been pushing for significant change since, as they believe the Trust keep making the same mistakes.
They tell you they've learned, they tell you that they're sorry, but in reality it's just a statement. And until that they can prove to us that they have stopped and the deaths have stopped, we'll keep fighting.
Avoidable deaths leave lifelong scars, and in Shropshire, the lives of too many families have been blighted by NHS failures.
So, Michael, with more families coming forward with allegations now, it suggests that this investigation has some way to go yet. And, of course, mothers in Shropshire are going to be worried about giving birth at these hospitals.
Unfortunately, they are, and that's the dilemma in these sort of situations. The Trust, I should say, are saying that their services are safe, they're good, and they are improving. The problem they have, however, is they have made those statements a number of times over the years, and mistakes continue to happen. I think that over the past 18 months or so, when I've been looking into this trust, I must have spoken to more than a dozen families who have been affected by maternity errors here. Maybe their baby has died, or maybe their baby has had a brain injury because of something that has gone wrong. And when you do that and you speak to these people, a few things strike you. Firstly, the unimaginable sense of loss. Secondly, the unanswerable questions. Why did it happen to us? Why didn't the staff do something? Why didn't I walk out with the same healthy baby that I walked into that hospital with? But also what strikes you is their fervent hope that other families don't go through the same grief that they have gone through, that the trust really learns lessons. And unfortunately, you spin forward a few months or a couple of years and you see similar errors have occurred at this trust. And until the trust can prove that they have comprehensively changed, that they really have learned the lessons, then they will remain in the spotlight. Families will continue to have concerns about maternity services here, although, as I say, the trust do strongly emphasise that their services at the moment are safe, that they are good, and as I say they are improving.
Michael Buchanan, Shrewsbury, thank you.
A review into deaths and injuries to mothers and babies at Shrewsbury and Telford NHS Trust is now looking at more than 100 cases. The BBC has learned that tens more families have come forward in the past month, saying mistakes made by maternity staff led to babies dying unnecessarily or suffering life-changing injuries between 2000 and 2017. And regulators have today raised serious concerns about the Trust's current maternity services. Our social affairs correspondent Michael Buchanan has the story.
2 children born 1 year apart. 2 toddlers now finding their way in the world. 2 people whose parents fear might have been affected by maternity errors. Damari Al-Hassan will soon turn 3.
He doesn't communicate, he doesn't talk, he doesn't walk.
When his mother Tracy was 28 weeks pregnant, a scan revealed a problem with his skull. But despite the known concern, staff encouraged her to have a natural birth. It didn't work. She needed an emergency caesarean. Experts have repaired Damari's skull and insisted it's not the cause of his delayed development.
Why did you let me try natural birth when you knew that there was something wrong with his head? It could have been a completely different story, but obviously they took that risk, and I feel that he's now to suffer.
Sophia Lilly will soon turn 2. She was born prematurely at 27 weeks and needed support to breathe, as his family video shows.
Sophia!
But a mistake was made during a routine procedure to drain her chest. Sophia Lilly needed to be resuscitated. The trust failed to tell her parents about the incident for days. So James and Cecilia wonder if her delayed development is due to being born early or medical errors.
She might not be here now. You know, if she hadn't have fought the way she did and put up such a fight. But, you know, we still don't know.
We don't know the damage that
it has
could
been
have been caused, because there's no notes saying how long her brain was starved of oxygen for. There's no notes of anything.
The Trust wouldn't comment on either family, but we've learned that 104 cases are now the subject of an independent review into maternity services here. Scores of families alleging their child died or suffered harm due to mistakes. Not every family will have been failed by this trust. It is sadly the case that some babies die for reasons that are neither predictable nor preventable. But the sheer number of people coming forward suggests that for years, scores of families have been unhappy with the care they've received here. In a statement, the Trust said, given the high profile of the independent review, it is understandable that more families have come forward. It's important to remember that this review covers a period dating back some 20 years, and that, at this stage, no conclusions have been reached about the care provided in any of these cases. But the problems aren't simply historical. Today, the regulator, the Care Quality Commission, raised concerns about the current maternity service. For those families who've long suspected the Trust had made mistakes, it's little comfort that maternity problems persist.
Michael, tell us more about the line there about concerns about current services.
Well, we don't know many details for legal reasons. We understand one of the concerns is to do with women who are deemed to have a high risk pregnancy. The Trust say they are cooperating with the regulator at the moment. The trouble this, of course, provides for the Trust is that they have long said that this independent review may uncover problems that were in the past, but this urgent action by the regulator today shows that concerns about maternities at this particular Trust continue, and that is another reason, unfortunately, for a number of women, pregnant women in Shropshire, to have even more concerns about this particular Trust, who do, however, point out that their services are safe.
Michael, once again, thanks very much. Michael Buchanan there with that story for us. An NHS trust in Shropshire has been rated inadequate in a heavily critical review by health inspectors. The Shrewsbury and Telford Hospital Trust, which is already in special measures over claims of poor care, has significant problems in its maternity and emergency departments. That's according to the Care Quality Commission. Regulators also said that staffing levels were unsafe and raised questions about the Trust's leadership. Staff reported a culture of bullying and harassment. According to the review, it also highlighted a culture of defensiveness from the executive team, and it said that staff were sometimes fearful to raise their concerns. Our social affairs correspondent, Michael Buchanan, has more details.
This is a trust in complete crisis. This is a failing organisation. Patient lives are being put at risk.
What they do is they gloss over what's actually happening.
Patient voices from a failing Trust. Anger from some, but also despair. Like too many others, Pippa Griffiths should still be alive. But in 2016, the Trust failed to diagnose or treat an infection. Pippa died, just a day old. Her mother said today that the scale of the ongoing failures was astonishing.
It's as if, as well as my child, they've taken any emotion from me because I can't experience that anymore. I can't go to a place where I can grieve and where I can fight, so I'm just at a point of numbness.
What would make you feel again?
Just to know that Pippa's death wasn't in vain and that the Trust's maternity care is safe and that no more babies are going to die avoidably.
While frontline staff are widely praised, overall maternity services are not improving. Despite more than 200 families raising concerns about maternity care, today's report says known problems, such as failing to properly monitor babies' heart rates, have still not been properly addressed. Inspectors rated safety in maternity care as inadequate.
It is vital that leaders in these organisations focus on the culture of their organisations, the safety culture, the ability of staff to raise concerns and to be listened to.
A board meeting today heard calls for the leadership to resign. Inspectors said some don't have the skills and abilities to provide high-quality care. Chief Executive Simon Wright, who's paid £165,000 annually, has been in post for 3 years. Today's report confirms care has worsened on his watch. If I was leading an organisation that had this inspection report, I would absolutely categorically walk away for having provided healthcare this poorly. And I don't understand how you can't feel the same.
Because the obligation when things are difficult is to actually see them through, not run away.
But you also have to recognise when you're out of your depth.
And that question will be asked of other people.
And you are out of your depth, aren't you?
No, I'm not. If I thought I was, if I thought that there were concerns, I've worked in the NHS for nearly 25 years. My entire professional life has been part of that. I live in this community, my family live in this community. If I didn't think and believe that I was capable of leading this organisation, I would have already walked away.
As well as maternity failures, inspectors found significant problems in A&E, rating it too as inadequate for safety. More than 80 recommendations have been made to improve care, but NHS regulators have serious concerns over the current leadership's ability to drive through those urgent changes. Michael Buchanan, BBC News, Shropshire.